Good afternoon, YouTube. Yours truly, MiketheLAdonsfan. Here on Don's Football Classics, coming at you with the 2025 season in review of the Los Angeles Dons. If you can, please hit the subscribe button, share this with your family and friends, hit the notification bells when my video drop, leave a comment, positive comment, and a like, and let's jump right into the 2025 LA Dons season yearbook in review. 2025 Los Angeles Dons, back in the NFC West for the first time since 2021. They finished 16-1-1 in the new 18-game schedule under head man Jim Starkota, but in the divisional round they fell short to their division rival and their crosstown rival, the Los Angeles Rams. But throughout that 2025 season, there were great moments and great games, spectacular finishes, and dominance, showcasing what Don's football has always been about. Jim Hill, the Offensive Player of the Year, leading the helm, taking over guys like Tyreek Thompson and Jerome Simpson, who won 3 consecutive Mega Bowls. But the new Dons that took over in 2025 was carving their own path to add to the legacy of champions. This is the story of the 2025 Los Angeles Dons. First game, opening night, against the Houston Texans. It was a thrilling game, honoring the past of teams that won championships, including the teams back in the late 2000s that Jim Starkota was offensive coordinator of in 05 and 09, and the Manny Reyes teams from 22 to 22, 23, and 24. The first team ever to win 3 consecutive Mega Bowls. But against the Houston, the current Dons were showing the old ones that they can make their mark on the franchise and try to deliver a title. But the game went to overtime. But that's when Danny McAllister punched in the final point on a go-ahead touchdown to win the first game of the season in the Jim Starkota era for the Los Angeles Dons. The next week in Carolina, the results more of the same. The Dons beat the Panthers 37-20 in Charlotte to raise their record to 2-0. And against Tampa on a Sunday night on the Madden 10, more dominance by the LA Dons. As Jim Hill was making his name for himself, on his way to becoming the 2025 Offensive Player of the Year. It's my fun segment. The next week in Seattle, the Dons would dominate the Seattle Seahawks and would continue their win streak. But on a Monday night against the Falcons, the Dons had a little bit of a fight over their hands, a little bit of struggle with the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. was showcasing his talent, both wearing their throwback jerseys. But at the end of the day, the last-minute drive, the Dons would have the final answer. With the game-winning field goal. The next week in Jacksonville, the Dons would dominate the Jaguars 55-10. But in SoFi, the Dons would suffer their only loss in the regular season to their crosstown division rivals, the Los Angeles Rams. It was a hard-hitting defensive battle, a defensive struggle, but at the end, it was the Los Angeles Rams who prevailed, 9-6. The following week, the Dons were back home against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Dons did what they did, dominate the Cardinals. And then the following week, next week against the San Antonio Riders, the Dons would dominate them, 48-0. The next week, Manny Reyes returned for his only game of the 2025 season against the Northern California team, the San Francisco 49ers. It was a hard-fought physical game on a Sunday night in Levi Stadium. But at the end of the day, Manny Reyes and the LA Dons, his one game, showed the Niners that they still run the West and they still know how to win games when it matters in the crunch time. Jim Hill led a last-minute drive and another game-winning field goal to give the Dons another primetime victory. The Dons traveled to London, England for the first time ever in franchise history to take on the Indianapolis Colts. And right from the start, the LA Dons dominated the Colts in London across the pond, with Jim Starkoda back on the sidelines and Jim Hill having one of his best games as a pro. Dominating the Indianapolis Colts, which that game was on my Patreon, MiketheLAdonsfan. Dominating the Colts 44-7 to improve their record to 10-1, and so far ahead of the NFC West. The next week, Sunday night matchup, once again against the crosstown rival Rams. And this time, the Dons will get their revenge, crushing them 48-14 on the Madden 10 on a Sunday night. And the Dons showed the Rams who run LA. And the following week, the Niners came to town. But the results remained the same. Another victory. The following week, the Dons end up in a tie with the Tennessee Titans. But the following week against Seattle, the Dons will once again beat the Seahawks in dominating fashion. And the Dons close out the 2025 season with 3 wins in a row, starting in Arizona, where they beat the Cardinals and they clinch another division title, this time the NFC West. They would clinch their 5th straight division title. No, wait a minute. No, their 6th straight. They would clinch their 6th straight division title this decade. their third NFC West title in this decade. And the other three was the NFC Coastal. But they crushed the Cardinals to win the NFC West and raising up their record to 14-1-1. The following week, the Dons traveled to New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints in a dominant performance in that game, beating them 41-3. And then closed out the season, the 19th game of the season of the 18-game schedule. They beat the Orlando Thunder 48-7 to earn the number 1 seed and a franchise best 16 wins. In the NFC Super Wild Card, the Dons faced the Minnesota Vikings. In the first quarter, the Dons took the lead before Minnesota took control most of the first and second half of the game. But late in the fourth quarter, the Dons showed why they are the proud sons of California and showed the Vikings that they never quit. They never back down. Jim Hill. Charles Warble caught 2 touchdowns, including the game winner from Jim Hill. And they recovered a late onside kick that the Vikings didn't recover. And just like that, the Dons won another playoff game, beating the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Super Wild Card. But the following week, they did lose to the Rams in the divisional round. But that loss to the Rams did not discourage of what the Dons had in 2025. One of the best seasons ever in franchise history. 16 wins, the most ever in Dons franchise history in the regular season. But in 2026, the Dons are looking for bigger and better things. They're looking to still run the West and still put the best product out there on the field. With Barry Mitchell and new players now coming to the Dons in 2026, the Dons looking to add their name to the legacy of champions. The players and faces and coaches may change, but the standard and expectations does not. It's all about championships. And in 2026, the Dons are looking to making their run to their 6th Mega Bowl championship, joining the Steelers and the Patriots, the only team to win 6 world championships. The first one from the NFC side. The future is bright for the 2026 Los Angeles Dons, and hopefully they look back to 2025 as a constant reminder that, hey, there's a job that's left to be done. Just ask the teams that won world championships. They tell you it's not an easy road getting there, but you got to work for it. But you got to find a way and work hard to get there. And that's what the 2026 LA Dons going forward will be. And this concludes the 2025 yearbook and the yearbook in review for the Los Angeles Dons. All right. If you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, feel free to subscribe, share with your family and friends, and hit the notification bell when videos drop, and I'll catch you on the next one. Please, if you enjoyed it, just give it a like. All right, and come back later on today here on Don's Football Classics, another LA Dons Classic game we played, so be ready for that. But in the meantime, everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you later on tonight. Mike the LADonsfan here on Don's Football Classics, signing off. Peace. Go Dons.